Hello, my name is Reverend Todd Bowling, and I'm the Senior Associate Chaplain in the Office of Religious and Spiritual Life here at TCU. And welcome to our third video in our virtual Enneagram workshop experience. In this video, we're going to be talking about the thinking triad, or types 5, 6, and 7. Remember, when we're talking about triads, we're talking about these types sharing common themes, common assets, and common liabilities. We're also talking about how each of these types within a triad takes in information, processes it, and makes decisions moving forward. And as we look at the thinking triad today, we're going to talk also about how types 5, 6, and 7 engage that triad differently. As we begin looking at the thinking triad, we're going to start with type 5. Type 5 is called the Investigator, sometimes called the Observer. Fives are the most expert-oriented of the 9 types. Fives don't need relationships the same way as other types might. If 2s are the most relational of the 9 types, 5s are the most unrelational of the 9 types. That doesn't mean they don't need relationships, it just means they need them differently and they don't need as many. Oftentimes with 5s, they'll have 2 or 3 people in their lives that they're very close to, but those relationships tend to not overlap, which allows them to better manage those relationships. 5s are very comfortable being by themselves. That allows them the space and time to do their work, to study, to know their content better. You'll often find 5s in fields that allow them to live into their expertise. Sometimes they're professors, other times they're engineers, doctors, in any highly specialized or technical field. Type 6 is called the Loyalist. They are often the first people to the office in the morning and the last people to leave at the end of the day. 6s are interesting types in that they don't automatically trust everyone they come in contact with. It takes time to develop and cultivate that trust. But once they've chosen to give that trust to someone or to something, it is there virtually for life. It takes a lot to break that sense of trust for a 6. But once the trust is broken, it's often really hard, if not impossible, to recover it. 6s are deeply committed types. They care a lot about the people and institutions that matter to them, which is why they're willing to work hard. They're also the most anxious of the 9 types. 6s often think about the things that others don't think about. They're able to identify problems before they happen because they're wired to think of them in that context. You will often find 6s in just about any field, actually, because every field needs people that are deeply committed and hardworking. Type 7s are the enthusiasts. 7s are often the life of a party, not because they necessarily need to be the center of attention, but because they're fun people, they're positive people. 7s don't like to deal with negative feelings and will often push those feelings away. 7s are also hard to get to commit to something because if they commit to something, what happens if something more fun comes along? And when 7s are self-aware, they can find ways to do that. They become excellent consultants. They can come into an organization and tell you what's wrong, tell you how to fix it. However, they don't want to be the ones responsible for fixing it because again, what if something more fun comes along? As I previously mentioned, each triad engages a particular emotion in a different way. So when we're talking about the thinking triad, we're talking about the emotion of anxiety or fear. Type 5, or observers or investigators, are going to deal with their anxiety by learning everything they can about the thing they're most anxious or worried about. And that often will lead them to being more isolated than normal. Type 6s are going to deal with their anxiety by worrying. Remember, 6s are our most anxious type already. And type 7s deal with their anxiety by pushing it away. Remember, 7s don't like negative thoughts and negative feelings, and they're going to do everything they can to distract themselves from the moments when those moments come. That's a brief overview of our thinking triad in types 5, 6, and 7. Tune into our next video where we'll talk about our final triad, the instinctive triad, in types 8, 9, and 1. Until then, stay safe and be healthy.